Climate change accelerating, say scientists.
Here's a summary of the article.
The signs and impacts of global heating are speeding up. The latest science on climate change, published ahead of key UN talks in New York, says. The climate statement is a pull together of the latest science on the causes and growing impacts of unprecedented levels of warming seen in recent years. The report also highlights the threats to the oceans, with more than 90% of the excess heat caused by climate change ending up in the waters. Climate change due to us is accelerating and on a very dangerous course, said Professor Brian Hoskins, chair of the Grantham Institute, Imperial College London, and Professor of Meteorology, University of Reading. The WMO report is meant to inform the special UN summit on climate change taking place in New York on Monday. A range of political leaders will attend the one-day event, which is designed to be about action and not words, according to UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. It is highly important that we reduce greenhouse gas emissions, notably from energy production, industry and transport. This is critical if we are to mitigate climate change and meet the targets set out in the Paris Agreement, said Petteri Talas from the WMO. To stop a global temperature increase of more than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, the level of ambition needs to be tripled. And to limit the increase to 1.5 degrees, it needs to be multiplied by 5, he said.
This post received a score of 35,282, with an upvote ratio of 86%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The part about a 0.2-degree rise happening in just 4 years was shocking.
Absolutely terrifying, and that countries feel comfortable not just maintaining emissions, but increasing them makes my stomach churn.
Former head of the Environmental Protection Agency, an oil lobbyist who had personally sued and fought the EPA for years in the interest of fossil fuel entities. Zinke opened more federal lands for oil, gas and mineral exploration and extraction than any previous secretary. An oil industry lobbyist who was under investigation only days after his confirmation. Bernhardt, when asked about climate change, something that directly affects the lands he is in charge of, dismissively quipped, "It doesn't keep me up at night." If you really want a scary sight, check out, which includes, Methane Emissions Clean Power Plan, Endangered Species Act, Waters of the U.S. Rule, Emissions for Coal Power Plants, Waste Prevention Rule, Coal Ash Rule, Chemical Release Prevention, Scientific Transparency Rule, Pesticide Regulations, Livestock Regulations, Oil, Gas and Fracking Power Plant, Water Pollution Clean Air Act, among many, many others.
Did nobody stop to think that these corporate entities would attempt to infiltrate these regulatory agencies? Why don't they put clauses into the hiring contracts that state anyone who holds a position within the agency can't have ever held a position within any company the agency would regulate, nor can they ever legally HD a position in one once leaving office?
I mean, that's what the confirmation process is supposed to do, but when the majority party is beholden to the same interests and partisanship, it doesn't happen. This admin also has quite a penchant for abusing the system of acting officials to subvert checks and balances.
I can't be held accountable for my job if I only held the position for 2.5 mooches.
I like that the mooch is a unit of measurement.
I don't. He was perfectly happy working for Trump right up until getting fired. The guy shouldn't be remembered for anything other than being yet another douche who knew Trump was a conman, tried to get money, power by sucking up to him, and then ultimately tries to get credit for being the good guy and calling out Trump, but only after falling out of Trump's good graces.
Millions of dead planets in the universe. One brilliant, living Earth. It's worth taking action.
That's a good way of looking at it. People seem to think we have this huge planet and our little bit of coal burning etc. can never change anything about it. But really, our planet is a tiny and fragile one in the vast nothingness of space. If it goes down, there is nowhere we can go, no plan to save us on another planet.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.